Hey everyone, I'm back with another gameplay video for Domain Zoo. This is going to be another modern MTGO Trophy League I just had with the deck. Getting into the deck tech, it's pretty similar to what I've been running for the past few weeks. There is one change that was actually recommended by the original creator, I guess, of this build, which is DackVane07. You can check out his YouTube. He's also on Reddit. He made a whole guide about the deck. But he was noticing that he was mulliganing a lot and actually losing some games just because he had to mulligan to 5 like so frequently to get the right 2 lands that can get us 4 to 5 colors, and then also some mix of threats and interaction. And that's actually something I've noticed as well. Like you do have to mulligan with the deck a bit more aggressively than maybe you would with different decks. But to mitigate that, we've actually added one more land. So we've got a 4th Windswept Heath now. So that brings the land total up to 22. It is one more fetch, which is always good because obviously it's much easier to get to meet our domain mana requirements with fetches than with just with more shocks or basics. So yeah, we've added extra land, and then we had those 3 we had 3 Dromoka's commands, and now we've gone down to 2. Dak was saying that 2 feels like the right number, and I'm kind of in agreement. It's not necessarily a card you want to see twice, like 2 of, but it is generally always good as a 1 of. You don't really need to see it in the early game because you can't even, usually you're casting threats on the first few turns, so you're probably not even going to cast it realistically until turn 3 or 4 at the earliest. So 2 feels like a good number for it. The rest is unchanged. And then the sideboard. So I talked about last league, I was testing Fury. I didn't really like it that much. I did have a mix of the 3rd Dromokas and Remand in the sideboard. This league I tested 2 Remands. It wasn't really relevant in a lot of the matchups. It is kind of relevant in creativity, which I actually played 3 times in this league. But this could be different things depending on what you're worried about. This could be a 3rd Flusterstorm. It could be a 3rd Hidetsugu Consumes All. It could be a couple mystical disputes. It kind of just depends on your meta and what kind of matchups you're trying to improve. But I think overall this is a very good just build for a sort of open meta. Okay, now let's get into some of the games. See if I can go full screen on this. Okay, starting off with match 1. See if I can get the replay to pop up here. Yep, I did. Okay, I'm on the play. Still using Gigantha as the companion. Okay, this hand is fine. I've got some threats. I've got some interaction. It is a little clunky because I've made the decision of, do I go Wild Nacatl turn 1, or do I do Triumph turn 1 to get Scion turn 2? But as a 7, I don't think this is something I'm going to mulligan. Like, this is a fine hand. And being on the play, let's see what I opt to go for here. Okay. Being on the play, I just go with the Wild Nacatl. So I don't know the matchup, obviously, but I just want to get a creature down. And then I see a hard evidence, so I know he's on creativity. I was actually somewhat happy to see the hard evidence. I think the version, I thought most creativity builds had dropped this from their decks because I think it's a pretty weak card. I think the creativity decks that are running a lot more interaction, stuff like Leyline Binding, Fire Ice, I think those are a lot stronger and a bit tougher matchups for us. But if you're going to come out the Crab token turn 1, I'm not really worried about that. So I go ahead and just fetch a Triome because if you look what I have in hand, if I don't draw, I want to be able to cast Scion next turn if I don't draw another land. And I do have Stubby D up in case he tries to play something that I want to counter. Which, let's see what... Oh, he does play Explore. So this is exactly something I'm going to counter because I'm not going to let him go off, get the card draw, and then be able to combo off next turn. So that was an easy counter of just holding up Stubby D. And then I swing in for 3. And if you see, he's already at 11, so his life total is already under pressure, and now he's in trouble. I'm going to play the Scion. And he's at 11. He's still at least 2 turns away from comboing off. So this is kind of what I was talking about, where you just have to stay aggressive in this matchup. And I hit him for 7. He's down to 4. I have double bolt in hand, and he just concedes. Obviously, I'm just waiting. I'm just waiting for him to tap out to cast something so that I can double bolt him. But it ended up not mattering. He didn't have the answers. So that was game 1 versus creativity. Okay. So I just exited out of that. All right, let me go back over here. All the way down. Okay, on to game. Sorry, on to game 2. This is still the first match against Creativity. All right. This time I'm on the draw. Let's see what I got working with my hand. Okay, so this hand, let's see if I keep this. No, I shift that hand. It's a little, I worried with that hand, it wasn't fast enough. Like, yes, I had 2 bindings interact with the combo, and I had a Nikadal, but I was talking about, like, for a 7, that's not really great. I want something a little more aggressive. Like, I want something that has at least a 2-drop creature. Because, you know, if I take that hand, and let's say I play my Nikadal, and then he just bolts it, then, like, there's no way I'm going to be able to do enough damage to him before he's able to combo off. So I shift that hand. And then I go down to 6, so, you know, maybe it was a little greedy to ship the 7. That would have worked, and I could have drawn into more action. Go to 5. This is a better 5, I think, than the 7, though. I've got the instant interaction, and I've got 2 big threats. So even though I'm going to have to go Triome turn 1, that's okay, because I know he's got a hard time dealing with the 5/5 Kavu, and he's got a hard time dealing with a 4/4 Scion. So this is actually a strong hand. This is better than my 7. Okay, yeah, here I'm just thinking I got a second Kavu, which is strong, so I'm gonna just fetch a Triome on turn 1. See what he does here. Okay, he just goes running 6, ticks up. So I grab the Triome, I have a stub ED, that's very good, because I can hold that up for when he tries to combo. Play the Kavu. Okay, he goes hard evidence, and then I'm just going to attack in. What do I loot away? I loot away another Kavu, and the reason I did that is I was looking for a 3rd land. If I have a 3rd land, then I can play Scion and hold up SWD. So, fortunately, I didn't get it, so now I just have to hold up Leyline Binding. In case he tried to combo off that turn, he doesn't. So I'm going to loot away, I think, another 2-drop, maybe Brawler. Yeah, okay, there's the 3rd land. So now I have a few options. I can hold up Nikadal. I can play Nikadal and hold up both. Or I could have played Scion and held up SWD, held up one of them. I decided to just hold up both because maybe he's got some interaction like Spell Pierce, something like that. So I just want to have 2 spells that can stop his combo. At this point, like, again, I'm applying a lot of pressure with 2 creatures on the board. He's at 9 life. So I just have to make sure he doesn't combo off. So he gets the token. Let's see what he does here. Oh, he goes Alpine. Okay, this is a weird interaction. So he goes Alpine Moon on Sacred Foundry. I've never seen someone play an Alpine Moon on a Shockland, so I wasn't really sure how this was going to work. I guess what it does is it just loses... it loses the land types. So... yeah, so that's what it was. So it loses the land types. So what I could have done in response to this, like, I didn't really think this mattered, but it probably did a little bit, because this turns off my stub ED, which matters because he has 4 right here. So he could actually just combo off here. I guess you would need 1 more land to do it. But what I end up doing is I'm just like, okay, I don't care about this, but maybe the better play would have been to see what I could have done. I guess I could have stubbed this. I don't think that's probably a great play. I don't know. I just let it resolve, but the problem with that is then I can't cast Scion for 1, and I can't cast Binding. Sorry, I can't cast Scion for 2, and I can't cast Binding for 1. So probably what would have made sense was to either stub it or Binding it, because so I'm guessing maybe I couldn't float the mana to bind it. No, I could have floated them. I could have binded it with it on the stack. That's probably what I should have done. I could have, in response to the trigger, tap for 1 white and then bind it. And then that's going to allow me to maintain the 5 types, so that next turn I can cast Scion and keep up stub ED. And it's also going to keep my Kavu at a 5/5, which keeps stub ED turned on, which matters. So that was probably the better play with this. I just was like kind of caught off guard because he brought an Alpine Moon for this matchup, which I think is weird. But now I'm in an awkward spot because I draw Tribal Flames, but I don't have 5 land types anymore. My combo's only 3/3, which turns off SWD. I loot away Scion because I can't cast it now. And then he Prismari commands me. I'm going to remand that, which also was kind of a stupid play. But I didn't have SWD up anymore, so now the game just kind of snowballs. Obviously, because I left that Alpine Moon on the field, I couldn't hold up SWD. And then he's just going to go Creativity, and then for X equals 2. And at that point, I would have to sack both these. He's going to gain 6 life. It's probably going to be too much for me to play through. Although maybe, I don't know. I guess I could have gotten 1 more land, potentially bind one of the Archons, Tribal Flames him, play. I don't know. I don't think I had a way out of this one. But yeah, I kind of snowball. I think if I had played this Alpine Moon correctly, then I probably wouldn't have snowballed out of control. I mean, he could be holding up Spell Pierce here or something like that. So again, that's always possible. But I'm certainly not in a great position. Okay, and then moving on to game 3. I'm on play again. This is actually a good hand against Creativity, especially on the play, because I've got a lot of threats in hand, and again, I'm just trying to apply pressure early, so Ragavan's an easy way to do that. Nikado, like I can just, yes, I only have 1 piece of instant interaction, but like I can just throw my creatures down, and this is going to make it hard for him to do what he's trying to do. So this is actually a decent hand against Creativity. So I do keep this. Right now, I'm looking at this, and then I could either play Nikado or Ragavan turn 1. I think I play Nikado because he's playing Hard Evidence. So if I play Ragavan and he goes Hard Evidence turn 1, there's a risk that my Ragavan can't connect, and then it was kind of useless to do that. So I think I just play Nikado here. I'm going to go green-blue to get 4 types by turn 2. Oh. Okay. Yeah, so I just play Nikado and then pass the turn. I don't care that he's 1/1 because I'm on the play, so that means he can ping him with Ren. Now he's a 3/3. I'm going to attack. See what he does here. He bolts me. Yep, he bolts my Nikado. I do WD this. That's like a very aggressive play that like arguably I shouldn't have made. I probably should have just held up WD, or sorry, kept WD, and then played a brawler. Like that, I try to be aggressive in this matchup, but that was probably too aggressive because I don't know. We'll see how it plays out. That was probably a little greedy of a play. He goes to bolt again on Nikado. That's fine. He has to use up 2 bolts for that. Okay, and then now it's kind of awkward though because the other kind of mistake I made last turn is I didn't really plan through my whole turn. Well, I guess I had to play the Sacred Foundry, get 4 types, but if I played it more intelligently and been like, hey, I'm going to just play this Triome and hold up WD, then, I could have played Triome last turn and I could have double spelled this turn. Or played like Brawler while still keeping up Bolt. Casey, well, you can't combo off this turn, so I could have gone Ragavan and Brawler. So, that was like a little, probably a misplay. I could have played it differently, but like that wasn't the best way to do it, how I did it. And then now, let's see, I attack for 5, which is good. Play a Kabu, which is good. And then I've got red. Okay, he goes Creativity, so that's easy. I bolt him, and then that's the game. So, it worked out fine because on the play, I think this is a very favorable matchup. But, there were probably little things I could have played a little better. But again, the key in this matchup with Domain Zoo is like you just have to play it aggressive early. You can't sit back with a ton of interaction and hope to just disrupt their combo. Like you want like 1 piece or 2 pieces of interaction is fine, but like you need a lot of threats in hand to apply pressure early. Okay, moving on to match 2. It's going to be right here. I do win the die roll this one. I still have my companion. This hand has no threats, so I have to mulligan this. This hand is much better. My strongest start is turn 1 monkey into turn 2 Kabu, and I've got that, and I've also got another threat, and I've got Tribal Flame, so this is a very good hand. So obviously I'm just going to go Sacred Foundry, Ragavan, turn 1 on the play. That's, a very strong play. Not sure why this paused. Let's just see if I can get it playing again. Okay, here we go. Play Ragavan turn 1. I don't know what this matchup is, but I'm just gonna make that play because it's generally a good play to make. Okay, second Tribal Flames, very strong. I'm gonna try to swing with Ragavan. I think he's got a removal spell. Nope, he's just got Triumph. So now Ragavan's gonna connect, and now he's in trouble. I see he's got the Archon, so he's on creativity. So now I'm just gonna apply maximum pressure. I do save the treasure token in case I get another land next turn. I can potentially just kill him with double Tribal Flames after Kabu. I don't get it, but I guess I could have looted there. But the risk is if I don't, I know he can't combo off till turn 4, so at least I could play double creatures, and then I didn't even need the Tribal Flames. But you know, if it was if he could combo off next turn, there's an argument for me to try to loot away like the Nikadal to try to get a 4th land, so then I can just double Tribal Flames him. Maybe. I guess he would still go to 1, but that would turn off his combo because he can't fetch then. Okay, game 2 against Creativity. I'll be on the draw this game. Okay, this is a 1-lander. I can't keep 1-landers. This is a better hand. I've got 2 threats. I've got some interaction to disrupt the combo. I brought in the remands here. You know, this is kind of one of those this and like Cascade are probably the 2 matchups I'm going to bring in the remand for. Again, it's kind of testing out in the sideboard again. I used to have it main deck for a while, and then I tested some other things. Now I'm back to remand. Keiko Scalding Tarn. So he's probably holding up a removal spell, or he's going to just fetch a Triome. I'm just going to play Rainforest with intention of just getting a Triome and then playing Kabu on turn 2. See, he just okay, shocks that in, so I'm thinking maybe he's going to ice me. Okay, so actually this is important. So I'm playing around ice here. I actually played that slightly wrong. So what you want to do, the reason I'm playing around ice is that's what I thought he was going to play. But what I should have done is if he ices me in upkeep, then I can just crack the fetch land, and then it doesn't have a legal target anymore, so the ice won't do anything. If he... and then so what I should have done, which I also misplayed, in the main phase, what I should have done is played the other second fetch, fetched this first, grabbed my Sacred Foundry, and then I could have cracked this fetch and got the, I guess it got the breeding pool. It doesn't matter that much. Like he could still ice one of the lands. So I guess I don't know. I was thinking about it at the time. Maybe I should have just played Triumph, and if he ices me, he ices me. But I didn't. So I have a 4/4. Okay, he Besages my Triumph. This actually played. It's funny. So how I play that actually worked out well because I don't know if you noticed, he Besaged a breeding pool, and I only had 4 colors, and it allowed me to grab a Triumph to give me domain. So that actually benefited me. If I grabbed a Triumph and he had Besaged it, then I would have had to go down to 4 colors. So that's actually pretty funny. So he actually helped me by doing that. Helped fix my mana base. See what he does here. Okay, he Besages again. So this time it's going to be a little harder. I can still get 4 colors, but I don't have blue for remand. I could, if I wanted blue, I would have to get 3 colors. Breeding pool's already in the graveyard, so I opt to just go 4 colors, which maybe wasn't the right move. In this matchup, remand can be relevant. But I wanted the damage with a 4/4 Kabu, and then I can play Nikadal. I've got Bolt up for interaction if he tries to combo off this turn. He plays Fable. Yeah, let's see what he does here. Oh, he bolts my Nikadal. In response, I just bolt his token that makes the treasures, because I'm going to make him... yeah, I'm going to just keep applying pressure, right? So, let's see if he blocks here. Okay, he doesn't block, but now I've got a Bolt up for the, if he tries to combo off again. Looks like he doesn't have it, so I'm going to just bolt his Dwarf, and I know I have Tribal Flames in hand, so I'm going to swing with Kabu, and then I can Tribal Flames him. I think that's what I do here. Looking for a 3rd land, see what he does. Prismari commands me. Okay, he just grabs a treasure token. So now, I think I just play the third land, and I'm going to Tribal Flames him. If he had Spell Pierce or something, that I would just Flusterstorm it, and then I still would have won. So again, pretty easy matchup, usually, for creativity with this deck. Okay, moving on to game 3. Match 3. Game 1. This was a pretty fast league, which is always good. A lot of my matchups were fast matchups. Creativity usually goes pretty quickly. Okay, let's see what this matchup was. Okay, this hand is fine. I am on the draw, so I am going to keep this. Again, we got a little bit of tension with, okay, do I go turn 1 Ragavan or do I go turn 1 Scion? I'd say on the draw, it is matchup dependent, but we'll see what he plays. On the draw, I'm less likely to go turn 1 Ragavan because it's just very easy to kill. Okay, he goes Ragavan. So now my turn 1 play is going to be pretty clear. I'm just going to bolt his Ragavan. I could play my own Ragavan, but then he has a removal spell, and then he starts getting tokens, and then just starts going from there. So I'm just going to kill his. Let me think why I did that, actually. I guess I played the Triome there. I think it was just I didn't really have another play. I didn't think I was going to hold up Stubby D. Sorry, I couldn't hold up Stubby D because of just how I needed Domain. And I had 2 Ragavan, so I was like, I'm just going to get 1 in play. Obviously, if it dies for removal, it dies for removal. I have other ones in hand. So that's why I went with that. I wanted to get 5 colors for Scion. But, one could argue maybe I should have made a different play because I had a fetch land right here. So I could have potentially just not fetched and then waited. And he played a DRC into a Fatal Push, and I could have even Stubby D'd this Fatal Push and kept my Ragavan alive. But I have 2 of them, so it's not super relevant. I'd rather save that for protecting a bigger creature. Okay. So I'm going to play a Scion and then hold up Stubby D. So now it's, again, I'm in a much better position because generally he has a hard time killing the Scion. See what I do. I do Stubby D this. Let's see. I think he Unholy Heats me, maybe. No, he doesn't. No, so now he has to attack into the DRC. I think he has a Bolt here. No, he's got Death Shadow. Okay, so that actually worked out right. So that's you can argue that's an aggressive play to counter the expressive iteration. Like, why not just counter the spell he plays after it? But I just don't want to give him that card advantage. And in this case, it forces DRC to attack into my Scion, and then it died. Right there, I did Dromoka's Command. So I just wanted to kill the Death Shadow before it could grow big. He doesn't have a lot of cards left in hand. He was tapped out. So I just went with fighting that and then putting a counter on my Scion. So that was a pretty easy choice. So he's still got the Shredder, but now he's getting in trouble. So he does connive the Shredder. I don't care that much about it because I just want to get these big threats on the board. He's already at 7. And this is Trample. This is Flying. So he does have Unholy Heat, which is a thing. And then he does have Drown. So he kills both my creatures, and then he swings in for 3. But luckily for me, I have a Monkey. So he's swings in when I guess he thought he was going to race or something. I do flip a Terminate, which is powerful. I could have just played Kabu there, but I just wanted to get rid of his only threat. So now he's just top decking, and I have an advantage because I can dash Monkey and play Kabu next turn. So he gets a Bauble, and he grabs Gigantha. So he can't cast Gigantha for 2 turns, though, because he needs to hit 2 lands. So now it's easy. I just dash Ragavan. He goes to 3. Maybe I flip a Bolt. I don't. I flip a Death Shadow, so I play Kabu and Death Shadow, and now he can't deal with that. So that was a pretty easy game against Death Shadow. On to game 2. Okay, this hand is fine. I've got a Coddle. I got 2 threats. I got some interaction. 4 lands isn't great, but I think I keep this hand. Yeah, I do. I'm on the draw, so I have a hard time putting this back. I draw another land, which isn't great for me, but I'm going to just go into Coddle and just start putting some threats out on the board. Oh yeah, I haven't been talking sideboarding. So Death Shadow, I'll talk about the creativity matchups because I played it again this later in the league. For Death Shadow, I'm taking out the Ragavans. Ragavan on the draw isn't great against a deck that has so many small threats, so many creatures. It's got DRC, Ledger Shredder, Death Shadow, so many removal spells. So I take out Ragavan also because I'm bringing in Hibetsugu Consumes All. So what I end up doing is I trim the Dromoka's command from the main because they're not that useful, and I trim the Ragavans, and looks like I trim one Nikotl. I trim 2 Ragavans and 1 Nikotl, and I bring in Hidetsugu Consumes All, and then Rest in Peace, because I know this is a version running on Holy Heat, running DRC, so it's trying to use, and Drown in the Lock, it's trying to use Graveyard synergies, so I want Rest in Peace to turn that off. Oh, I bring in 1 Veil of Summer, because I thought he might have Thoughtseize, Fatal Push, those sort of things. So let's see, I just going to swing in, and a shock to try to do 3 to him. See if he lets it through. He does. And I just play a Brawler, and then let's see what he does here. So he's going to drown that. So what's actually good is he saw that he couldn't drown the Brawler, so he had to drown the Nikotl, which is not a bad trade. Now he's already down at 10. He's going to play a Shredder, and he's going to play a Death's Shadow. So, and he's tapped out. So let's see what I do here. Okay, I have a double Lightning Bolt, which is good. So I'm going to just bolt one of his Death Shadows, and then I'm going to try to attack him. Let's see if he tries to chump. And then I'm going to just grab, I think I grab a Triome there. Yeah. I grab a Triome, so he's at 5, and now I have Stubby D up to protect my Brawler, which is good. And I've got a Bolt to potentially kill a Shredder to first swing for Fatal. So I'm in a pretty good position here, and I draw a Scion, which is even better. So I'm just going to swing in. Like, he's got a chump. Okay, so he's Fatal Pushes. I'm like, all right, fine. Let me Stubby D that. He does have Drown Lock, which is annoying. And then I punt here. I forgot the Shredder is going to connive again. So it brings it to 2-4, and the Bolt doesn't do anything. So that was obviously a mistake. I forgot about the connive. He was still going to get the connive, but I could have saved the Bolt and then just played a Scion here. So I still do play the Scion, so I'm still in fine shape. He's only at 5 life, and my Scion's bigger than a Shredder. But I should have just saved the Bolt. Let's see what he does here. Okay, he's got K Command, and he's got another Death Shadow. So he just had the right, I thought I was pretty far ahead. He just had the right combination of cards there. So there was not much I could do. And then I draw another land. Okay, I'm going to cycle this land because I'm trying to find a Tribal Flame. The reason I had to fetch there is I'm trying to find a Tribal Flames. I'm trying to find a Binding. Trying to find... Yeah, those are pretty much the 2 things that could have saved me. I could have gone Binding on the Death Shadow, or I could have just Tribal Flames to face. I don't find either of those, just another land, so... that was one where I don't know if I would have played it any differently. I just think my opponent had the right cards that lined up against what I was doing. Okay, on to game 3. I keep the same sideboard. I don't think I make a differentiate between play and draw in this matchup. Okay, this hand is fine. I've got 2 Kabus, I got Stubby D to protect them, and I've got Rest in Peace, which is good. So I do keep this. The idea is I'm just going to get a Triome turn 1, and then I'll get Sacred Foundry, or turn 2 I'll be able to get Domain with Sacred Foundry. So I do get Domain. Okay, here's the, there's different ways to do this. So I go for Rest in Peace. I don't know if that's the right play. I would say in general that I would not play a turn 2 Rest in Peace in most matchups because it's not a threat, it doesn't apply enough pressure. But I am on the play here, and Rest in Peace turns off a lot of his cards, especially his removal cards. It turns off Drown the Lock, it turns off Unholy Heat, it turns off a lot of things he has. So by playing a Rest in Peace here, I know that it's gonna turn off a lot of his removal. Another reason is I don't want to I have 2 Kabus, but if I play this Kabu here, there's a good chance he's got a Fatal Push in hand. And then, my Kabu dies right away. So I kind of want to put it out with protection. But, you could argue that you have 2 Kabus, you should just throw one out there, force him to use removal early. But I decided to just wait a turn. So that way I can keep Stubby D up when I play the Kabu. So he's not even fetching. I know that Death's Shadow does not play Blood Moon. So he's just going to wait. Which is fine. So I'm going to go Overgrown Tomb, and I'm going to jam a Territorial Kabu. So now I'm in a good position because I've got Stubby D up, I've got a big threat on board, and let's see what he tries to do here. Tries to Fatal Push. See, I knew he had the removal spell. That's fine. I'm going to just WD it. See what he goes for here. Plays Monkey. And then he goes Dress Down. So, you know, obviously he had to use 2 spells to kill the Kabu. That's fine. I have two more in hand, which Kabu's not amazing in Dress Down matchups, but, you know, he probably only has 2 in his sideboard. So, you know, we'll see. So I can't really do anything here. Obviously, if I played the Kabu, it would just die. So I'm just going to bolt this Monkey. Okay. Let's see what he does. Oh, he Thought Seizes me. This was an interesting time to Thought Seize. So he thought for a really long time there, which I don't know why he, you know, obviously it's easy to take the WD, but I just go Kabu here. I could Tribal Flames the Death Shadow, but I just wanted to get another threat on board since I had 2 of them. He could have a removal spell, but it would have to be another Fatal Push. So he attacks here, and I'm just going to let it through. So I did the math there, right? The blowout happens if he has another Dress Down because it would be a 13-13, but I still wouldn't die there. I only go to like 2. So I'd rather have this Kabu here because if you look what I have Kabu and Tribal Flames. So, you know, there's a possibility that I can do more damage. I could draw some other stuff. So I want this Kabu alive because I want to try to kill him here. I didn't know he'd have another threat to block, but, you know, that's fine. Okay, double Tribal Flames here. Oh, yeah, this is an exciting one. So I had to loot away that second Kabu. The reason I did that is I'm looking for another land, right? If I get one more land, then I can double Tribal Flames him, so it doesn't matter what he does here, he's going to die. If I don't, I know he's going to chump here, and then I could potentially just Tribal Flames the other Death Shadow, and that way I don't die to Dress Down. But instead, I loot and get like the perfect card for this situation, which is Hidetsugu Consumes All. I mean, other than getting another land. So now this is going to, you know, pretty much be a blowout. Let's see what he tries to do here. Okay, he pumps his Death Shadow to kill my Kabu. All right, whatever. And then I play Hidetsugu Consumes All. And I have double Tribal Flames in hand. So now if I just draw another land, I'll kill him next turn. Because he can't use Drown the Lock because there's nothing in my graveyard. He dashes Monkey. So right now I'm just worried about him flipping maybe like Bolt or something like that. He doesn't flip anything, I don't think. And now he's on a 2-turn clock because he can't stop my Tribal Flames. I get another Hidetsugu, that doesn't matter because I'm just going to Tribal Flames him. He's going to go to 2. He's going to dash Monkey again, but at this point I don't think there's anything he could flip that could save him. Like, he'll put me to 8, unless he had like 3 bolts in hand or something, or flips a bolt and has 2 more in hand. Like, there's not much he can do. And then get another Monkey, get my token, doesn't matter, Tribal Flames him. So Rest in Peace did a lot of work in that matchup because it turned off his counters in the form of Drown the Lock, also turned off a lot of his removal. So that's why I bring it in for this kind of matchup. Okay, moving on to round 4. Okay, I'm on the draw in this game. Giganta revealed. Yeah, this hand's fine. Again, the tension of Ragavan versus Scion. A lot of times on the draw, I'm just going to opt for Scion. On the play, I'm going to opt for Ragavan. He goes Hard Evidence, so here's another creativity build using Hard Evidence, which I haven't seen, again, in the builds in a while. So I'm like, okay, whatever, you're on creativity. I don't want to play Ragavan because he just gets blocked by Crabs. That doesn't really help me. I do play the Triumph. Now I can get Domain. Now I can jam Scion. Draw another Tribal Flames, which is strong. Let's see what he has here. Okay, he tries to draw a card. I don't know what he was looking for. Okay, I'm going to swing with Scion. He can't block it. Now I'm going to just Tribal Flames him. He Spell Pierces. I don't think what happened there. Oh, okay. Yeah, here's another aggressive play, you might say, right? So I just used WD on a Spell Pierce. That's because I'm just looking at how much pressure his life total is under. I've got a Tribal Flames in hand. I've got a Monkey in hand. He's got no way to block Scion. So I'm going to just stay aggressive, and I'm going to stub his Spell Pierce because I know he's going to take 5. And now, again, yeah, next turn he could get, land into Prismari Command, kill my Scion, then the following turn potentially combo off, whatever. But like, I think that was the right play. You just have to stay aggressive. If they got the answers, they've got the answers. But he just conceded after that. He didn't have a way to deal with the Scion. Okay, moving on to game 2. I'm on the draw again. I think I keep this hand. This hand's fine. It's not amazing, but I got a couple of threats and I got some interaction for the combo. On the draw, of course, it's much harder. So at this point, I have no turn 1 play, so I'm going to just fetch a Triumph. See what he does here. Okay, he doesn't play Ren, so maybe he's going to ice me. He doesn't ice me. I go Scion. He remands it, so I guess his list is playing remand. That's fine. He goes Ren 6. So the weird thing about that whole turn is like, I guess he saves a turn by doing that. But now I can just play Scion and hold up Binding. So if he tries to combo off here, then I'm in pretty good shape still. Oh, he plays Teferi, and now I'm not in good shape because I'm going to have a hard time interacting with this combo. I don't have 2 answers, so like I could kill Teferi, which is what I do. I don't know what the right answer there. Maybe I should have just. Maybe the better play was to. I have to do the math. If he could, I guess he could combo off on 2. It's really hard to deal with 2 Archons. I could have jammed 2 creatures. They would have just died on the Archon triggers. But now Tribal Flames at Teferi, so in theory I can at least hold up Binding, and we'll see how aggressive he is. Maybe he wants to hold up mana because he thinks I'm going to Spell Pierce him or something. So that's what I do. I don't play another threat because if I play another threat, he's just going to combo off, I'm pretty sure. Okay, I draw a Remand, which is strong. So now I can play a creature, hold up Remand and Binding, and I'm in decent shape, although I still haven't applied a ton of pressure to his life total. So I felt better about doing this than just double spelling. And then he had the Binding. So see what he tries to do. He draws a card. It's okay. I still have 2 answers, 2 pieces of interaction for when he goes off. See what he does here. Attacks me for 1. Okay, he's going to go X equals 2. I'm going to remand it. He's going to Spell Pierce it, and then I can bind one of the tokens. He's still going to get a trigger, but he doesn't get an Archon here. He gets whatever this is, Sarah's Emissary, so that's interesting. He's got protection from creatures, but like if I flip another Binding, then I'm in very good shape. Unfortunately, I don't. Plays another Hard Evidence. I have no way to block this flyer. He goes Chain to the Rocks, which is a card I haven't seen in these builds before. Swings in for 7, so now I grab Gigantha, but I just need to top deck a Binding or a flyer, Scion or Binding, and I get a Kavu, so that's not going to do it. So that was a close game. Again, he remanded Teferi. Like, he had a lot of stuff to Spell Pierce, a lot of stuff to slow me down. So sometimes that's just what happens in these matchups. Like, you try to be aggressive, but on the draw, of course, it's harder. Okay, and then on to game 3. Okay, I'm on the play this time for the first time this match, so that's always good. This is a pretty good hand for creativity. I've got my turn 1 threat. I've got my turn 2 threat. Kavu's hard to kill. Again, best creature in this matchup. So I just go into Coddle on 1. I'm on the play, so I don't need to worry about Ren. Okay, I do actually punt here. I grab a Steam Vents because I'm just thinking in my head, okay, like 4 colors. But obviously I miss out on 1 point of damage, which is a problem. So first, I always usually grab Sacred Foundry, but I just forgot the Plains thing. So obviously this should have been Sacred Foundry. I would have done 1 more damage to him. And then let's see what I do. I think it's Jamakavu. So already I'm hoping, like, man, I hope this is not relevant, that I just missed out on a point of damage. Let's see what he does. Okay, he binds the Kavu. Okay, this time I'm not going to make the mistake. He's going to do 3 damage. He's at 13. I'm going to just Tribal Flames him and then hold up SWD. Okay, I've got a Kavu. See, he's got Remand. Okay, I go to attack here. I obviously could replay the Kabu. Um, the problem with replaying the Kabu is then he combos off. Right now he can't combo off because I can stubby D it. So, you know, I think that was the right play. I have to assume he's got the combo in hand. Let's see what he tries to do. Of course, he plays a Teferi, which I stub. You know, like I just use it because I want to force him to tap out. Like, but then he bounces my Teferi. So now things aren't looking amazing because he could potentially combo off next turn. I can't really interact with it. So now my only option is I just have to go really wide. My hope is if he combos off, you know, if he goes off on one, I can still sack a creature, and he's at a low enough life total that I can potentially just keep applying pressure. But looks like he didn't have it because he pings me with Ren to kill my Nikadal, but now he's got a binding on Kabu, and then I'm going to swing in. He's going to have to chump. He's going to take it, so he's going to go to 1 here, and then he's probably digging for an answer. He gets a Jace. He's probably digging for another answer. I don't really know what could have saved him there. He would have to, I guess he has stuff in hand. He would have to find, let's see, I don't know if he already played a land that turn. He would have to find like double removal spell essentially because I've got Ragavan in hand that I can dash. So that one just worked out by applying pressure. You know, it got a little dicey there for a moment, but you just gotta throw your creatures out, and it worked out. All right, and then we'll go on to. Well, actually, I will just say sideboarding for a moment there. Sorry, forgot to mention it. For creativity, generally, I do the same thing. Let's see. You know, it is a little play draw dependent. Like you could argue to not sideboard anything honestly on the play because you just want as many threats as possible. But what I opt to do usually is I take out the Dromoka's command. This guy was running Leyline Binding, but it's just a slow card in this matchup. I don't care him that much if he binds one of my threats. It's not the end of the world. I have more of them. I do take out 2 monkeys. That's because this guy was playing. I think this guy was another guy playing Hard Evidence. It depends if they have Hard Evidence or not. On the draw, Monkey's much less good because of Ren 6, so that's a big reason I take it out on the draw. On the play, you can make the argument to keep Monkey in. Primarily what I'm putting in is the permission. So I put in the 2 Remans and the 2 Flusterstorms. So in this case, I just took out the 2 Dromokas, 2 Ragavans to put in the 4 pieces of permission, and that's just to interact with their combo more and disrupt it. You could argue on the play that you don't need the Remans, and that you could just keep the Ragavans in to be as aggressive as you can. Okay, and then we're going to go on to round 5 for the trophy. Okay, I am on the play, which helps. That was a 1-lander, so I couldn't keep it. This is much better. I've got turn 1 threat and a turn 2 threat. I think I'm just going to put back a basic forest. I don't need a basic forest. I got 3 lands. Okay, I go Foothills. This one's pretty easy. I'm just going to go Temple Garden, grab Nikadal. Turn 2, I can go Steam Vents, play Brawler. I have 4 types, and then turn 3, I can get an Overgrown Tomb to get all 5 types. Okay, he plays a Giver of Ruins here. I start out, I attack, right? I could have played Brawler here. At this point in time, I wasn't sure if he was on Hammer or Artifact Affinity. I guess I should have known with this he's probably on Hammer. I could have played Brawler, and I opted to just play Tribal Flames on the Giver of Ruins. I don't know if that was the right call in hindsight. I just didn't want him to do the thing where you start getting like protection from different colors, and then he gets the hammer equipped, and then I can't block. So I just went with that, where he can start just chumping with Ornithopter and save a lot of damage. So I went with that. I'm not sure if that was the right play. Maybe I should have just played Brawler and been more conservative. He equips Paradise Mantle. Doesn't really do anything. Okay, now I'm going to get 4 types. I am going to play Scion in case he tries to chump with Ornithopter. I'll do 1 more damage. Of course, he's not going to, but And then I have Steam Vents up, so it looks like maybe I have some kind of permission up. Okay, he swings in for 1. I was a little confused about that play. Maybe he just didn't have another play. He swings in for 1, but he doesn't have anything to flash in the hammer or like any other thing. So I was just like, all right, whatever. If you want to do that, I'm going to swing with everything. I do, and then I'm going to just lay all my threats out. So now I have a really wide board. I can chump if he does have hammer. There is some risk. I guess I'm also at 12. So there is some risk. Like he could I guess I could die this turn if he goes activates the net. He goes Cigar's Aid into Hammer into activate Inkmoth Nexus, has one more land, and then he equips it. I could die there, but like he's got 3 cards in hand. He hasn't played Hammer yet. He hasn't played Cigar's Aid, so that tells me it's unlikely he has it in hand. Like he basically hasn't done anything for 2 turns. So, I'm just gonna go really wide, and then obviously he couldn't deal with that. So that was game 1 against Hammer. All right, moving on to game 2. This time I'm on the draw. Jacantha. This is a okay hand. Like, this isn't my I don't prefer something like a 4-lander against like a fast deck like Hammer. This is okay. Let's see if I keep this. Okay, I do put it back, and I get a slightly better hand. Now I at least have 2 threats. I still have Dromoka's Command, which is great against an Urza Saga deck. And I've got Bolt for some instant interaction in case he tries, to kill some of his threats. So this is actually a better hand than the 7. See what I do here. I do just put it back to Triome. Okay, he plays Esper Sentinel. So here I have the choice. I can go Nacatl, or I can wait for Scion. I decided to just jam the Nacatl. I just want to apply pressure early. I don't know if that's the right call or not. But I do it. He offers the trade. I'm not going to trade. Maybe I should have traded there, actually. But I want to start pressuring his life total. Okay. So actually, I guess I didn't think through what I was talking about that well. So I forgot about Esper Sentinel. So like I probably, you can argue that I should have played this as well, the reason I played the lands as I did is because I wanted to be able to cast Dromoka's Command. So I do cast Dromoka's Command. I end up killing one of the Sentinels, and then I'm going to kill his Urza Saga before he's able to. It's tapped out, so he's not really able to do anything with it. I think that was the right play in this situation because now he's kind of getting all the pieces out, and I just need something to slow him down. I don't. So that's why I opted for. So in the draw, I just have to kind of put some speed bumps out. He does have the Hammer, but he doesn't have a way to equip it yet. I do have to shock myself a lot, so my life total is getting low. But now I can play Scion. Now I had the option to hold up Stubby D or hold up Lightning Bolt here. I go to with holding up Lightning Bolt because my theory is I can bolt whatever he tries to equip if he comes up with a way to equip it. And I'm going to swing in because now I got to start doing some damage to him. He grabs a land. See what he does here. Okay, he plays a Pure Steel Paladin. So obviously if I had held up Stubby D, I would have been in trouble here because he would have had 1, 2, 3 artifact types, and then he would have been able to equip the Hammer for free. So what I do instead is I'm going to kill his Esper Sentinel. He'll draw a card, which is not great, but I'm going to try to keep his number of artifacts below what it is to be able to equip. So I don't want him to get the Metalcraft. So that was the idea behind doing this. But now I'm in a tough position. Because now he's got the stuff he needs. He's got a second Hammer. And then, of course, yeah, that's like the issue with doing what I did. Obviously, if I had Stubby D up, well, he still would have had 3 types. So I could have stubbed the second Hammer, but it's whatever. So now I just have to... I've got chumped because my life total is so low. Okay, I draw a Natural State, so the game's not over yet because I can Natural State one of the Hammers, and then I can chump the other one. So now I can chump, and then if I draw something like a Binding or another Natural State, I can win, but I don't. So then we go on to Game 3. This time I'm on the play. Sideboarding for Hammer. I didn't mention it, but it's pretty straightforward. I'm going to take out some of my 1-drop threats. So because I'm bringing in Hidetsugu Consumes All. So I'm bringing in 2 of those, so I like to trim on the 1-drop. So I trim 2 monkeys. He's not amazing in this matchup. It's like he can get chumped by, small things. And then I trim the Nakados just because I don't want to end up with like a handful of 1-drops and I cast a Hidetsugu and like wipe my own board as well. And then I'm going to bring in the 2 natural states, which you saw last game. That's just, it's 1 mana. I can kill any artifact up to 3 mana, and I can kill any enchantment, which means I can basically Stone Rain in Urza Saga, which is very good. So that's what I bring in. I take out I keep the Dramokas in hand, so I'm just taking out those 4 cards to bring in 4 cards. Still have Gigantha. Okay, that first hand, sorry, you didn't see it, but it had it actually had the sideboard answers, but it didn't have enough threats. It had no threats, so or maybe it had 1. I'm not sure, but I couldn't keep that because it was basically like I have natural state, I have Hidetsugu, but like if I don't draw into some threats to pressure him, then I can't win with that. So let's see if I keep this. I think I do. This isn't a great hand either. I only have 1 creature, but I do have Dramoka's Command, which is very good against Urza Saga. And I have Binding, which is very good against Hammer. So I decided to keep this with the hopes that I'll draw into more action. I go Breeding Pool, Wild Nacatl. Again, I'm trying to get the idea I'm going to play Sacred Foundry, so I have green and white on separate cards. He goes Ornithopter, Paradise Mantle again, and then he equips the Paradise Mantle. So he basically has the Mana Dork now. Okay, so I got Dramoka's Command in hand, right? My thought is, okay, usually I want to kill the Mana Dork, and I want to keep the number of creatures down so he can't like flash in a hammer and start swinging. So, and I want to pressure his life total. So I'm like, okay, why don't I use Dramoka's Command so that I can put a counter on my Nacatl, and I can kill his Ornithopter. Now I'm getting in for 4. I think that was a bit too greedy of a play. Because I know his pattern is usually to go Urza Saga turn 2. So, and this is just too good to pass up to be able to destroy Urza Saga with the first chapter on the stack. So he can't even, he loses a land and then loses a land drop that turn too. So it's like very powerful. So that was probably the smarter play. I should have just waited. Like I knew he's not going to chump with the Ornithopter. It's 1 more damage I did, but like that doesn't, maybe that doesn't make that much of a difference. It's probably a little too greedy of a play. But I go for it. I do 4, so now he's down at 13. And I have a 4/4. Okay, now he plays Urza Saga, and this is when I'm like, man, I should have just waited on Dramoka's Command. I could have killed his Saga and killed his Ornithopter. He marches the Nacatl, which isn't great. My life total, okay, so if you saw there, I do have Leyline Binding in hand. I opted to not shock in the Overgrown Tomb, just because my life total was getting low, and I don't want it to be so low that like they can swing in with 1 hammer, hit, and kill me. So I'm kind of getting cognizant of my life total. I don't really want it to go below, like 14 or 13, so I didn't want to shock in this Overgrown Tomb. But I could have done that if I wanted to keep up binding. I just didn't think there was going to be something worth binding this turn, because I knew he didn't have any creatures on board, so he can't haste something in. I guess he could go like Ginger Brute plus like, a bunch of other stuff. But anyway, so I was like, okay, I'm okay with sitting on this binding. I can use it next turn, and I'll save the 1 point of life. He reveals a Colossal Hammer, so I'm just going to grab a Triome here. I mean, I draw another Nacatl, which is good. I'm going to swing in for 5. Now we're in a pretty good spot. He's at 7. He's at 8 life. I'm going to play Nacatl, and I'm going to bind the Stoneforge. That maybe was not the right move, because you'll see what he does here. I'm thinking like, hey, I don't want him to be able to flash in the hammer, right? Maybe he doesn't have another way to equip it, but that's probably a stupid move. He probably has another way to equip it, or else he wouldn't have grabbed the hammer, right? Because right now he can't equip it at all. He could already grab a hammer here. So he probably has another, he probably has a way to equip it, and now he was just trying to get double hammer. If he had gone Cauldron Complete, you can make the argument, hey, maybe I don't, maybe I do bind, but then I probably should just save. I should have just sat on this binding. I think that was, again, not completely necessary. So now what's he going to do? He's going to get Ginger Brute, he's going to go Sigarda's Aid, and he's going to bring in the hammer. And he's going to equip the hammer because he has Sigarda's Aid. So obviously, like, if I just held this Leyline Binding, he could have, he would have done the same thing. He would have still had his Stoneforge Mystic still alive, but then I could have just gone binding on his hammer. And then now he's in the position where he's got to like chump with both these. Like he's not in a great position. So that would have been a better play. Instead, now I'm in a little awkward position, but I top decked my way out of it. So, if I had drawn like pretty much a binding, a natural state, or tribal flames, those would have all been lethal. I end up drawing a natural state, so now I can just kill his Ginger Brute and then swing in for 8. and now he's dead. So it all worked out in the end, but I don't know if I played that game as tightly as I should have. I go natural state. He kills Gingerbread. He's got no mana up in case he's got, blacksmith skill or something. So that was against Hammertime. So that was the league. It was a 5-0, not as clean as my previous 5-0s. The matchups ended up being 3 creativity, 1 hammer, and then what was that? 1 death shadow. So you saw a lot of creativity, but I try to show kind of how this deck performs against creativity and how you want to play against them. You want to be aggressive. Okay, so thanks for watching, and subscribe, like the video if you like these kind of gameplay videos, and I can make more of them.